Welcome to episode number 4 of Bragg and Bout Business, brought to you by Cowboy Trail Brewery. Cheers to the West. This week we feature Kieran Keddle of the Kieran Keddle Academy, located right here in Bragg Creek, and also the newest location in Cochrane, Alberta. I really enjoyed listening to Kieran's story and his approach to the business of coaching. We cover a lot of territory, from his time growing up in Kent in the southeast of England, his growth in becoming a world champion Muay Thai fighter, the switch to becoming a world-class coach, making the move to Bragg Creek, and we even hear how he crossed paths with some celebrities over the years, with a couple of cool stories included. Kieran also gives a sneak peek into what the future holds for Double K Academy. Enjoy! This week on Bragg and Bout Business, Kieran Keddle, a seasoned Muay Thai champion and coach with over 30 years of experience. Starting his journey in 1992, Kieran quickly rose through the ranks, earning national titles and becoming the first Brit to compete at iconic Thai stadiums. With 78 fights globally and multiple world titles under his belt, he founded Double K in 2013, producing 22 world champions. Kieran has coached actor Idris Elba to victory on the Discovery Channel and now leads KK Academy in Bragg Creek and Cochrane, Alberta, Canada. But there's more to the story. Kieran.
There always is.
Welcome to Bragg and Bout Business.
No, thank you for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure and beautiful setup.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's been a fun ride so far with the podcast. Yeah. So first question before we start.
Yep.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I think I'm sitting opposite one. You're the size of Bigfoot. So if you went outside now,
yeah,
right, I could do we could go more viral with this podcast. Right? If you think about it, I'll just film you from a distance, but do a shaky camera. You know,
it's got to be a shaky, grainy picture.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Get a ghillie suit on; it'll be good. Right on. So, England, Thailand, and Bragg Creek.
What a connection!
How did you end up here?
Do you know what? I haven't really been asked that specifically on the areas and how that journey started, but I remember the day I was 18 years old, very British. I was in a pub with one of my brothers, Sean, and I remember literally standing with him and having a beer or 10 and just saying, I don't like it. I've been one of those people that have always wanted to experience going to other countries, other cultures, other people.
Sure, yeah. And
of course, at that time, it was all about Thailand. You know, my destination was I want to go Thailand. I'd been a few times at 18, 19, 20 years old. I wanted to do a long stint there. It's not something you can click your fingers about, especially 25 years ago.
Of course.
If you look now, you can do everything online and get your visa sorted in advance and paperwork. But those days, you had to go to offices and wait. And sometimes several days. And then they'll give you a stamp. And then you had to go back several months later and all these sort of things. So I went to Thailand and I absolutely loved Thailand. Beautiful place, great people. And what I was doing at the time, the energy of what I was doing was just Muay Thai. It was all I thought about. I was obsessed with it.
And you would have been 18, 19, 20?
I did some stints. So from 18 to 19, I did a month here, 2 months here. And then up to about 22, I was doing 2-3 months for training camps or having fights out there. And at 23, just went, right, I'm going out there. And I was solid there for about 5 years.
Nice.
And I came home a few times. I had some fights in other countries, but that was my main base, right? But it gets to a certain point with Thailand when my number one obsession, like I stated, and it was really number one, that's all I thought about. Everything else came second, third, fourth. I look back and think, geez, maybe I was a little bit too much about it, but I really immersed myself, right? Yeah. You know, it's the saying, it's not even a poor me or anything, because that's how it was. But I missed birthdays, other people's birthdays.
Sacrifices had to be made. Yeah.
I missed certain things that you would celebrate in standard life because I had this mission in goal, which was to be the best that I could be for Muay Thai, right?
And you were.
Yeah, well, I did all right. In the end, but you have to be like that, right?
Exactly.
And I actually remember coming back when I was about 27 or 28, and I was working in my brother's gym, and I had to go back to square one. And I thought, was it worth it?
Right.
You know, all my other friends had either settled down or had businesses with good money, starting to buy houses at that age or getting into that stage of life. And I was like, I'm pretty broke. However, it got explained to me a little while later when I was coaching a guy that got into the UFC, actually. And he was telling me a story about how he'd struggled. He went off to America for his training camps and he'd met another guy that was quite wealthy, and this other guy was buying things left, right, and center. This is while he was in Miami. He wasn't as skilled, though, the guy with the money. He didn't have the skill set at all. And he was a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he just didn't have it, right? But the guy I was training, he had it. He had that X factor. The guy turned around and said, "You don't realize I would give everything up, all this money, right, to have your ability. But oddly enough, you think you want what I want. But it's not true at all. People would give so much for your given talent that you have, wherever it's come from, that talent." So I had to remind myself, I've had such an experience the last 8, 9, 10 years of being in Thailand, training, and I'm still having fights and camps, but back in the UK. So, I'm back to square one on that side of things. But in terms of learning about myself, I'm ahead of people.
And life experience and seeing and doing,
Yeah, absolutely. And then you learn things about yourself, how to get by on,
of course,
minimal money, and just because your desire is.
Yeah, you have a different priority. You have a different priority. And you're not being saddled with a mortgage and,
That's right.
Yeah, all that kind of commitments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, you get to a certain age and you want different things. And I was starting to coach a lot then. I started to make my name as a coach. And I retired, had my last fight when I was nearly 31, which is still pretty early in a career. I could have gone on for being honest with you, probably another 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And the reason being why I didn't was not just about I ticked all the boxes. There was still a desire to fight. Was the selfishness that I just told you about. The obsession wasn't there as what it was, that burn.
Right. You need that. You need that.
You need that. And then what happened is I had fighters that were coming from all round. "Hey, I want to train with Kieran. He's my coach." And I just got this reputation. So I didn't have time to be selfish anymore. I had to put my eggs in other baskets, which was coaching, right? And I found a desire in coaching. And although, I reached some great heights with Muay Thai and fighting in, I think I fought in about 8 different countries, fought 30 times in Thailand, and, fought in the 2 stadiums, Rajadamnern and Lumpini is what they're called. I know you couldn't pronounce them earlier, so I'll say it to you. I actually consider myself a better coach than I was fighter. I was getting better with that, and I created champions real fast.
Yeah.
So I had to have one more fight though. So I'll tell you about that just to go off.
All right.
I had a fight when I was coaching too many people, and I used to own a bar and restaurant as well. So I was juggling everything. I was absolutely spread thin.
Wow.
I took a fight. It was more so to help my manager, who was putting together a show. He's like, "You got to have this fight." I came back, and it's no disrespect to the guy I fought, because he's a great fighter too.
Sure.
I just didn't put the effort in. I have to admit it. I made weight, but I wasn't in good shape. I basically didn't eat for a few days just to make weight. And you looked at the body, it just wasn't in good shape. And I fought terribly. I was riddled with injuries because I wasn't looking after myself. And I had this fight, and I lost on points. And afterwards, I went, "That's it. I can't do it. I just can't balance everything."
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. I went back to the changing room. And then the fighter came to see me, and he said, "Hey, Kieran, I've watched you. You're one of my idols, and I can't believe I beat you." And I said, "Oh, great. Good luck to you. Good luck in your career." And he said, "Listen, the last 10 weeks, I had 5 weeks in Thailand, 5 weeks in UK. I put everything aside to beat you. And I didn't do that." All right. And then I realized that I couldn't go out on the loss. I needed one more.
One more. Right to wrong, yeah.
I turned around to the coach and said, "Right, let's put together a home show. We're quite close to my home. Let's get all my friends and family there. And I'm going to put everyone aside, right, for 10 weeks. And I'm just going to train. It will basically mean I'm going to be broke for 10 weeks, right? But I've got to do it. I can't go out like that. Just calm. I don't mind losing. You lose, right?
Sure.
But losing out in that way was just embarrassing.
Right. You wanted to put everything you could into it.
That's right. Yeah. So I put everything I could into 10 weeks, trained my ass off, and then had a fight in my local town. I think I sold 400 tickets.
Wow.
So a huge crowd come up. Everyone come up. My mum, girlfriend at the time, friends and family, cousins fly over. I couldn't lose. But at the same time, I didn't want a pushover. I wanted a hard opponent. So we got a guy from France that was a 2-time world champion himself.
Wow.
Just come back from Thailand with a prestigious belt over there on a big tournament. So the pressure was on, right? And I had this fight, and it was a close fight, but I turned it round heavy in the last 2 rounds, nearly knocking him out. And it was also for a world title. So that was my last fight, 3rd world title.
Fantastic.
I came out the ring and said, "Right, I love that. And it was just a great feeling, right? You know,
Yeah.
the hand raised and having your name raised and
Of course.
the build up to it.
Yeah.
The pressure. I love the pressure. And then I just thought, I can't do that again. Put everything aside because the business I had of coaching, that would just go away very quickly because I had to be selfish. So I got to go back into coaching. So I immersed myself in coaching. And then I opened up the Kieran Keddle Academy a couple of years after retiring. And fighters came from all over. We had a little hut. I'm not joking, it was like 700 square foot. Had a little boxing ring, a few bags hanging up. That's all you needed, right?
Yeah.
And it got packed every night of the week.
Yeah,
Busy every night of the week. We had kid fighters, boxers, Muay Thai guys that came for striking for MMA. And we started to do groups. I had guys fighting on all the big promotions. I had several guys fighting on UFC and Bellator and won championship. It was just a great period, right? Reputation goes, right?
Absolutely.
And word was getting spread. So I really, really enjoyed myself. But there was something inside of me that it wasn't ever cemented that was going to be in the UK.
Oh, interesting.
Now, you know, as yourself as a father, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my first son and I was like, okay, do I want to bring him up in a place like this? I didn't. Just didn't. So we moved out to our version of a countryside.
Right.
Outside
You were in London proper at the time?
Well, southeast London, and it's Kent area. It's right on the tip of the border, but it's sort of a mix there.
Okay.
And it's fast. In theory, it's a good place to live. Everything's amenities are close. Pubs close.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gotta have those.
Yeah, you have. Things have dramatically changed for me as a person and also the area and the town. Lots of things had happened. And I felt I wanted a new challenge. So I always remember going back to that pub when I was 18. I wanted to find somewhere. So I got offered work. I sort of started looking. I got offered work in Australia. So actually part of the Idris Elba episode, I went to Australia with him. He was working on Thor. I went over there for 6 weeks, which was fantastic. Went on the set of Thor and met Chris Hemsworth. Met his name escapes me. It was The Fly.
Flyer.
No, The Fly. The movie The Fly. Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
I met him.
No way.
He's as tall as you.
He's a big dude too. Yeah. Yeah. He's a funny man.
He was a great man, actually. Do you know what he did? He didn't have a trailer like all the other stars. He went off and ate with all their extras and things. It's what he liked to do. He likes to give people confidence about up and coming actors.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Took pictures, no problem. Walking around.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you meet those celebrities and they actually turn out to be nice people.
Yeah.
And not full of themselves. Yeah. That's always a nice surprise.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So while I was there, I got offered a job there as a potential. There's a huge facility in academy, but something wasn't there for us.
You weren't feeling it.
Weren't feeling it. It was on the Gold Coast. So you think, wow, the beach today. But I don't know, sharks, spiders.
There's a lot of things in Australia that'll kill you. Yeah.
Well, there is here too, but they look better, don't they?
That's right.
Yeah. And I approached someone else who had opened up a chain of gyms in San Diego and that. So I went over to San Diego and that was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Same sort of thing. Beach.
Sure. Yeah.
You try and live in San Diego, coming straight over from England would be very difficult. I had to live in their version of the suburbs 20 minutes away. And I was like, this is a bit sketchy. 2015 had a fighter that came out to fight in Calgary. And my uncle's lived here 50 plus years. And I always joke about my uncle because he used to come over. This is my mum's brother. He used to come over for weddings or celebrations. He'd fly over. And he'd bring his son and his daughter, my cousins, over. And they're a few years older. And I had another cousin from Ireland. So my uncle here, he's got an identical twin brother in Ireland. So we'd have these big family weddings, right? Anyway, we would all, you know how the teenagers go off. So I was about 13, he was about 16, and I had another cousin that was 14. We'll go off and we'll be talking. And we'll be like, what did you do for summer then? So I look at my Irish cousin, he'll be like, I was going off to play a bit of football or soccer, right? And he'd talk about where he played it with some buddies or, just going out doing teenage things. Same with me. Where did you? I just played football all summer and that's what I did. And it was a great time. Don't get me wrong. You'd be out on your bike or whatever, right? So I went round to my other cousin, said, hey, what did you do? And I was like, oh, there's a long list coming. I went rock climbing. I went out to the lake. I went out hiking. I went skiing in the winter, all these sort of things. And so me and my Irish cousin, fuck this. It's rubbing in our
faces. Got a pretty good life.
Yeah, we're kicking poo off the green, right, just to play football. And he's going off to do those sort of adventurous things.
Yeah.
And I joke now because my sons are now like getting into all these sort of things.
course.
He's turning into him, right?
Yeah.
So, so I went in 2015 and my student had his fight out here. And then we stayed an extra couple of days. And of course, the uncle come and picks me up from the hotel, gets us in his car. Doesn't say much. I said, where are we going? He said, Banff. He actually took us on the old highway.
Oh, yeah.
The
1A.
back way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then when you get to that certain part, because you see the mountains anyway, but when you get to that certain part, you're just like, what is this?
It's amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And I actually love bringing people over.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of people that come over, my friends and my wife's friends all come over all the time. We have so many visitors each year. First thing we do is take them to Camberwell Banff, but that little drive,
It's
as soon as you hit it, it's magic.
Exactly.
You get out on a clear day.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
I wish I could delete everything from my brain just for that view, that feeling.
The first time you see it, it's burned in your memory.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was literally like, got back to England. We're moving to Canada. I had, you know, by then I had my second child. So I was looking into good schooling, safety for kids, future for kids, good jobs for me. So I had a friend also that had a gym in Calgary. So I approached him and he said, yeah, like if you can put together the visa with us. So that's what I worked on. So we came in 2017 for a holiday for 3 weeks. We had a vacation for 3 weeks with a wife and now 3 kids. So age 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a handful.
And we came over for 3 weeks. And the first 2 days, we were just plotting around Calgary to get over the jet lag and stuff. And wasn't too keen on Calgary. It was okay. Like a city's a city, right?
Sure.
But day 3, we went into Bragg Creek. And I was like, this is Canada. This is how Europeans see Canada, right?
Yes.
And of course, you know, did you see bears? Did you see cougars? And then we went into Bragg Creek and actually met an English couple. I spotted them straight away. I was these guys are from England.
You could tell.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. They've actually moved back to England last year.
Yes.
I then, on the way back, because we did a few trips to Bragg Creek, on the way back, I was like, what's this Redwood Meadows? So I had a little drive. So I thought it was just a golf course.
Right. Yeah. You drive by, you don't really see a whole lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's what sold us. School bus turned up, the yellow bus. In England, we'll think it's a Simpsons episode, right? You know, school bus turns up. All these kids got off. It's like everything went slow.
Yeah.
Within minutes, all the kids are outside playing on their bikes, playing hockey, basketball, just being kids. I was like,
that's a spot.
Because that brings back all my memories as a kid growing up, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I want for my kids.
Fantastic.
So then, you know, we got our visa in the following year, August of 2018, we came out. And I think it's, well, everyone that I've had come over, and I've probably had, in the nearly 8 years of being here, I've probably had 50 people that come out to visit us.
Wow.
Whether it be students or friends.
Sure. That's a lot of tour guiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. And then I
It's
take them out to Bragg Creek and you start to discover new areas and plots, and I take them around. Every single person has said, you've made the right choice. And that's when you know, right?
Exactly.
I don't need validation, don't get me wrong. But how my area of where I lived in England, I'm not saying there isn't great spots in England, by the way.
Of course.
It's just
beautiful country too.
Yeah. Some of it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
But for what I needed to get worked in and a way of life, and then for the future for my kids.
Perfect spot.
Perfect spot.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a great story. So now you've been here for 8 years.
Yeah.
And you started KK Academy.
Yeah. My dream. So I went to Big Bear in Los Angeles. Have you been?
No.
Wonderful place. You drive out and all of a sudden a mountain approaches and you start driving up the mountain. And this is my love of mountains. So I went there about 12, 14 years ago, and I was doing some commentary, doing seminars, and I always wanted to go to Big Bear because it's where, I don't know if you know about Big Bear, but it's where a lot of fighters go for high altitude training, and also to get away from the city life for a period of time to live, breathe, whatever fight sport you've chosen. So we drove up this mountain. It's a lovely little town, similar to Bragg Creek. Has a little lake, has some rivers running through it. And I went to this boxing gym, and it was a tiny gym. I just thought it was going to be this big complex. And I was like, you don't need anything. You just need the ring, some little bits of equipment, a couple of heavy bags, off you go, right? And it's all about the coaches. So I was like, wow, imagine having a place like this. Imagine having a gym in a location like this. So fast forward to Bragg Creek, I was like, It's very similar.
So that's how you got your inspiration for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to open up a facility in high altitude place, a little town where you can get away from it. And that is actually part of what I'm going to be doing as my next venture of part of the academy, is actually inviting fighters to come over, even if they bring their own coaches, to live and stay in Bragg Creek, use my facility.
Sure.
And if they've got big fights coming up, they can, I mean, the airport's 40 minutes away. It's not that far.
No,
Right?
exactly.
You could be in Los Angeles, you can be in Vegas in 2 hours, for
Yes.
example. So I think in the next year, 2026, we're going to have some famous boxers come over,
Very
use
cool.
my facilities, stay in Bragg or surrounding areas, and then it'll be a great feeling, right?
That would be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
You're going to be an ambassador for Bragg Creek.
yeah. Why not get on the tourist industry, right? Because if you
Yeah.
actually look at it, if you actually scrape the surface,
Yeah.
you know, you got the one spot campground, which is a mega facility. It's beautiful, beautiful piece of earth.
It
Let's
is.
put it that way.
Yes.
You drive towards Kananaskis, 15 minutes. You're out in the middle of nowhere. There's a river right next to the gym. You can go and fish in there if you want to. Just take it in.
Yeah.
You've got a lovely, beautiful community with a great bakery, cafe, coffee shop, a couple of restaurants, really good restaurants, grocery store. You've got everything you need. And then, of course, there's the potential chance of a couple of a hotel that might open up soon.
Yes, that's right. There's some in development. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's B&Bs everywhere, and
That's right.
you know, everyone's got a spare room, of course. So,
Of course. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it'd be a great opportunity to get some media, but great attention is what I mean. It's not bad attention, great attention to get someone to come over, use the facilities for 4, 6, 8 weeks, train there, and get some media attention and go, wow, this could be a great spot for other boxers, MMA fighters, or other kickboxers that want to come down and use our facilities and just highlight Bragg Creek.
That's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That'd be
good luck on that. That
Yeah, thank you.
sounds fantastic. No, that's something to be aspired to and have that energy. Like you say, seasoned fighters and people and traffic, and shines a good light on
Absolutely.
Bragg Creek. KK Academy in Bragg Creek. Now you've expanded as well.
Yes. Opened up a second facility last weekend in Cochrane.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Bragg Creek will always be the baby, right? I love the community of Bragg Creek. I was not as my own academy, I was in Calgary for a few years teaching there. And again, fantastic gym, facility, all of that, great people. But it never felt like a home. It never felt like that community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted. In Bragg Creek, it's sort of like a diamond of Alberta. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've been to 70 countries nearly, right? And I haven't seen many places like Bragg Creek that tick a lot of boxes. Always perfect. Absolutely not. To have a gym in an area like that ticks those boxes, like I just mentioned, is like a dream, really. And when you start coming into the community, I thought I knew most of the people in Bragg Creek and Redwood. Not true. I opened up a gym. Oh, I'd never seen you before.
Right.
How can I miss you? You're 6'11". Right. And then now I keep seeing you everywhere. It's weird. Like, you know, and then I started meeting other people of other businesses or communities or, you know, have great stories to tell as well that help come to the gym. And I'm seeing this great bond, not just with me and them, but other businesses inside of my gym, networking, right?
Yeah. Like-minded individuals.
That's right. And then we went to the distillery. You know, we went there and I said, hey, from the gym. We had about 40, 50 people turn up, had a few drinks. It's great, right?
Yeah.
You know, everyone started talking, making friends for life and, you know, like connecting. It's just a great thing to see. And Bragg Creek has that.
Yeah.
It has that 80s and 90s feel to it.
It does. Everybody's looking for that. That's here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. So talk to me a little bit about the programming for the academy.
So first and foremost, we are Muay Thai, really. We do have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. So once a week we have that as well. But for me, we have a program for kids, 4 to 9-year-olds, and that's parent assisted. So you've done it.
I've done it. Yes.
So what we do is we get the parents involved. And the actual core behind that is, first of all, bonding with your kid, because that's getting lost a lot as work is getting us spread thin much more than ever before. And of course, social media and all those type of things, right? So bonding with your child. 2 is actually taking home some of the things that you can do in the class so you can do more at home with your kid.
Right.
Right. You know, so what we do is we get, as you know, we play games with the kid, we do warm-ups with the kids.
That's right.
Parents have to do it too.
So friendly competition.
And I will kick you if you don't do it. We do
I got my ass kicked anyway.
Yes, true. So we do competitive games between parents and kids too, and it's all a lot of fun. And then we get the pads out, or we do drill work, combination drill work, those sort of things, technique-based.
Right.
And the parent will be the coach for that period of time.
Yeah.
And then we always end it with a little reaction game, I call it. Right? I love the reaction game. And again, it brings up a little bit of win-lose for parents and kids. And if the kid beats the parent, it's the funnest thing ever, because especially if they've got to get punished by doing 10 burpees or something,
right?
The parents really want to win. If they lose, it's the best feeling for a kid in the world. Yeah. Then we have the teenage program, which is our 10 to 14-year-old age. And that's developed really quickly. And I always stated that I actually thought when I opened up the academy, I would have more juniors than adults. Actually, I have more adults than juniors. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the demographics of the town. But the teen program especially is really grown, which is great to see. So I've got lots of kids mainly from the school, but there's some homeschooling kids as well that come along. And they absolutely love it. And again, aside from the fitness side of it, the learning side of it, I'm now seeing these kids become friends. They're going around each other's houses. I'm looking outside on a good summer's day, and they're all playing outside of Bragg and hanging out, and being scoundrels, right? Yeah. And then we have the adult program, which is steered towards, I mean, we have to look again, going back to demographics. The average age is obviously older in Bragg Creek and Redwood Meadows, so we have a lot of more senior, we'll call it. Hey?
Yes.
Being polite.
I think we're edging into that.
Yeah, the golden era. The Legends League, as it's also called,
the Legends,
Masters League, whatever you want to call it. Right? Yeah. So that's what it's steered towards, and I'm getting male, female that are coming down and they're having a wonderful time, and it's great to see. And what's happened is now we're 20 months in, 18 months in, and we've had a couple of guys that have come off and now want to go into competition, which is great.
Fantastic. In the legend category?
Not in the legend category. Actually, one is in his 40s. He's about to have a white collar boxing match, but that's not till November.
So a white collar.
Yeah, so white collar boxing match is steered towards getting people off the couch, off the sofa,
all right.
Stop them drinking and partying, watching Netflix at 2 in the morning, and getting them off and getting them into a local community, a gym, and becoming a part of that gym, and then competing against a person over short rounds, but also raise money for charity. It's a fantastic aspect. Right?
Excellent.
So that's a thing that's happening at the end of the year. So he wants to do that, and I said I'll do some training with him for that. So that's great, right?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So masters. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But it's just good to see. What I am seeing from that, again, is going back to that community. I've got a 70-year-old in the gym. I'm 71 even.
My goodness.
Dave Klopacki. He's 71. Phenomenal. Got Gordon McDonald, I think, 70 or nearly 70.
Gord, yeah.
Yeah, Gordy, yeah. Yep. It's just great to see.
It is.
I've got another guy called Evan. He comes from Cochrane. He's 72.
Fantastic.
It's for all ages, right?
It is.
And they love it.
Yeah.
They come 2-3 times a week. And it's just great to see.
Yeah.
A good mix of people.
So how much one-on-one coaching do you do?
It depends. To be fair, I still do some. Yep. I love doing a one-on-one coaching.
Sure.
And if anyone wants one, I'm all ears. I'll absolutely give you my time. No issue at all.
Okay.
I try to work on the group classes aspect. And the reason being is I've got a lot of admin to do in the daytime.
Sure. Of course.
So I have events that I run, the 2 gyms and the memberships I run, of course, the family also.
And the family.
Yeah, you know that.
Yep.
So I still do personals, but not as much. A handful a week.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, coaching I love the promoting. I love the enjoyment of fighting when I had that time. I love getting involved in the administration side of things and speaking to clients or customers or fighters or students, whatever you want to call them. But the most thing I enjoy doing is coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. The phone's off. And that's why off camera, we talked about fly fishing.
Yes.
I enjoy that. I'm not saying I do it much. I've done it, again, not many times, but going out just for 2-3 hours, whether it's on your own with a buddy, have a couple of beers, whatever it is, and the phone doesn't work because you've got no reception.
That's right.
Or I don't have to answer it for a short period of time. It's gold, right?
Just the sound of the river.
That's it. Or this one, the sound of someone whacking the pads, right?
Yeah.
But also talking to them and saying things to work on and seeing them improve, or getting your energy, or taking even some of their energy as a fighter, or people that just want to learn, right? So, yeah.
So coaching, is that something that's kind of come natural to you, or have you kind of picked things up from other coaches that you've had over the course of your life?
It's a mix, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no denying that as a coach, you've learned from your coaches in the past. You've learned from seminars that maybe you've attended. You've learned from training, how you've trained as well. And it's like a mixed bag. And then you sort of
make your own way.
Get into your own style from that, right?
Yeah.
So I try and blend what I can and how I can deliver a message.
Sure.
to each fighter individually or as a group.
Right. Yeah. So thinking back to the coaches you've had in the past, is there someone that really stands out to you that you?
There's several.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's several, because in England, I had 2 coaches. One was my brother. The other one was a guy called Chris Carley, and they were my coach in UK. Chris Carley was actually my brother Alan's coach, and he actually came out of retirement. He come from another city at the time to come train me, which was honour in itself. But we're still friends now. You know, like I always send him messages. An old guy now, I say, call him Gandalf, all of that. Yeah. So, and then in Thailand, I had a coach called Mark, who I was his first non-Thai fighter to coach with him. And I was blessed to be with him. He was hard man.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was a big guy for a Thai, thick set, and he would drill you to the ground. And I learned about self-mindset from him, because it was brutal. 6-7 hours a day, 6 days a week. If you had a fight coming up, you had to train on a Sunday too. The disappointment if you didn't push yourself in training, because you were just...
No doubt.
He'd just look at you. Wouldn't say much. Just that look. And I felt like I let him down. And that's what you want. I have to push harder. You know? I hit you with the pads, kick you, everything like that to make sure. We'd go running. We'd do single file running. So every day we'd do anything between 10 and 14 kilometers at 5:30 in the morning. And you'd go running as a group and you'd come back round. If he thought that something was up, he'd be up at 5:30 on his moped. And he'd be following you on a moped, right? Oh, yeah. And then eventually it would be like, right, you lot aren't doing this properly. Even though you're doing the distance, you're not doing it at a time I want. So he got us in a single line, and we had to, one from the back had to run to the front. As soon as that guy come in, you had to sprint 12 kilometers of this.
Oh,
my legs. God. Anyway, of course, if you're slowing down, at the time I was like 22, 23, 24, something like that. Some of the kids were 14, 15 that would be all part of this group because they fight too. He whips the back of your legs to make sure if you're at the back and you're trying to run like this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's conditioning.
He was doing it for you though.
Right.
And that's what you had to learn. Sometimes you just think, fuck this.
Right.
You know?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to remember your dream and why you're there, right? So yeah, he was a ridiculously great coach, fantastic coach. And I learned a lot from him in Thailand about mindset. So now, like into my coaching times, when people complain about, oh, I've bruised my thumb, I don't even say anything. I just look at them. I just walk past them, right? You know, some people think I'm just being like that way, but it's not. I learned that myself. If you do want to achieve and get to the top, just complaining is not going to get anywhere with me.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Give you this scenario. A kid walks into your club and wants to become a fighter. What do you tell them?
First of all, you got to listen to the coach. Absolutely. You've got to be on time. So you have to be punctual. You have to, again, going back to what we talked about, you have to be obsessed with it. So I can't, if I'm in the gym and doing all these sessions with you, you need to be outside of the gym looking after yourself.
Yeah, it's only an hour or 2 hours a day.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So outside, I expect you to do running. I expect you to look after yourself in terms of diet. I expect you to be watching the game too, which creates an obsession. But I also want you to ask questions. Mm-hmm. Hey, coach. Hey, Kieran, how do I work this technique? Text me. I don't mind. Call me. I don't mind. If I'm in a gym, ask me the questions. I'm not a mind reader, right? So that's what I want to see from you too.
Yeah. Well, the desire to grow.
Absolutely. The desire to grow completely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've had a lot of successful fighters you've developed over the years. What has been a standout attribute of those kids? They
all have an individual trait that stands out. I'll give you some names. I had a fighter called Charlie Peters. He became a 3-time world champion too. He got signed to a big organization as a sort of farewell gift from me to him as I left to come to Canada. He was number 1 in UK, and he beat the best of the best in UK as well in my last coaching of him, his last fight. And actually at the end, he looked at me because he knew I was coming to Canada a few weeks before, and he said, Kieran, that was for you. And I was like, I'm quite a hard man. It's dusty in here. It's dusty. Right, someone clean that. Yeah. Yes. But his attribute was, he was, without fail, he was an athlete for sure, right? And he kept himself in absolute incredible condition all year round. But his attribute was listening. Oh, my God. Honestly, I was in a corner and I would say, watch this to my assistant. Jab, boom, move to your left. Jab, cross, Charlie, boom, boom.
This is in the fight.
In the fight. So unbelievable. So he had so much trust in me as a coach, which I Yeah, that's amazing feeling.
It's exactly what you want as a coach.
Exactly what you want as a coach, but you got to also understand that feeling it gives me. He has his life as such is to trust me to make the decisions for his fighting. Of course, we had a strategy beforehand of what to do, right, during camp, and obviously even just before going out. Some things change, something to work on, right? But that was his attribute, was listening and a trust. And then I had another fighter called Luke Whelan, who still fights now, and his attribute was first of all, his conditioning of his toughness, right? Which, okay, that's given to him. He was just naturally tough. He could take a beating and come back from it. So he understood that, and I understood that. If he'd be down on the rounds early on, he would come back from that, right? And the other thing as well with him, I'm not saying all the other fighters don't, he had a understanding of teamwork makes the dream work. So he'd be in the gym helping other fighters, helping kids out, and he understood that completely, right? And that's one of his big attributes. Now he's become a coach himself. He still fights, but he's also a coach now, set up his own gym. So I wish him the best in the world, right? Fantastic. It's a great feeling too.
It must be a good feeling to coach somebody like that, see them successful, and then see them become a coach.
Absolutely. It's exactly what you want.
Right?
I always state, yes, okay, I was a world champion. Yes. And all these attributes, fantastic. But as a coach, I want the fighters to be better than me. Every single person that comes to the gym, I want them to be a better version than me. I want them to be a better fighter than me. And I want, even if it means not even fighting, because let's be honest, 5%, probably less actually, of people who come to my gym are actually going to go and compete. Yeah. But if they can come to the gym and feel better about themselves and attributes to their work or whatever they want to do in their life, maybe become an entrepreneur. If that is part of the training or learning Muay Thai or being part of the academy, then what a wonderful feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a good sign of good leadership. You're making other leaders.
Absolutely. It's what you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, the things that you're teaching them is going to pay off for them later in life, whether they stick with fighting or coaching or they go on to do other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the mindset, the conditioning of the mindset.
Yeah. I've had some guys in their similar ages to me in their 40s and in their 50s that will always reminisce and send me a message. Oh, I remember that time in my 20s, I was in the gym, and after that I went off, and, and those sort of things come about. And, they always go, that mindset of coaching and training and the hard work you put in is translated into what I do now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Good. So what's it like been to start KK in Bragg Creek as far as being an entrepreneur and starting the business? Challenges, successes, more in the business aspect than the actual day-to-day stuff. But
I think fighting has taught me about losses and failures. It's not the end of the world. You can regrow and build again. And I also had, when I had a restaurant in London, a bar restaurant in London, that was an amazing setup, but an epic failure. I lost everything. Bankrupt, completely lost everything. And you think, this is not the stage I want to be in my life. Fight career was coming to an end. Just lost. Something I sort of dreamt of doing with a team of us. And I just couldn't balance things. So when I walked away from it, it's like someone on my shoulders was doing that. And all of a sudden I just went, okay, shake off. Exactly what fighting's like.
Yeah.
Okay, I've lost a fight. What do? You
get back up.
You go back up. You get back at it. So it's the same. It translates into business. So that failure of that restaurant and bar business, some of the fights that I've lost has taught me I can come back from it. It doesn't come back instantly. I wish it was that. I really do wish it was that. It's not, but it's learned, build back up again. And even when I came to Canada, effectively you go back a few steps to make some steps forward. So I had a certain life in England, but when you come to Canada, you can get certain things back. It's just going to take time. You have to understand it's a new community, new people, new laws even.
Sure.
How business is dealt with is totally different. I have to understand it. So I've learned patience from my losses and understanding from my losses to get to a stage. So when I opened up the Bragg Creek gym, I was very, very lucky because Bragg Creek is businesses are coming up now. Yeah. We're seeing that, right?
Yeah, very welcoming to business.
Yeah, we're seeing the tourist industry, especially since COVID, because people couldn't travel. They were coming to Bragg Creek and surrounding areas. So it was really nice to see. I found a nice little spot. And I am, without fail, my wife's the absolute opposite on this. And she'll be like, it's true. She's a hell of a lot more reserved in terms of business and making those decisions. So I just go for it sometimes.
Yeah.
It has pros and cons to that. Right?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But on this one, I said for a while, and I asked some people around the area, what do you think? Should I open up a gym? You got to do it. You got to do it. Kathleen LaPlante, the the
Yes.
realtor,
Yeah.
Catherine Burke, sorry.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. She was one of the people who said, you got to do it. And I spoke to a few other people and I went, right, let's just go off and do it. I just went for it. Built a small gym enough for the community, I think. And then
It's a great space.
it's a great space. One of the great parts of social media was I started questioning. If I opened up a facility, what would you think? And the responses I had, I was like, great, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So I took the dive into it. But the beauty of it is Bragg Creek, it's not like a city in terms of a Calgary. I don't have that competition. So I know that if I opened up a gym and I had a stable group of people, that the word would spread.
Yes.
Regardless of
Organically
social media.
grow.
It will.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. And we're now up to, I think, about 65 members.
Fantastic.
So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see. And like I said, my kids program is starting to come up. We're thinking about doing a summer camp as well for a couple of weeks over the summer period. See how that goes, because I'm seeing a great connection. And I understand this, by the way. Parents will think, well, I don't know about Muay Thai. Could be a bit too brutal for my kid. Well, absolutely in competition there is. I get all of that. But the truth of the matter is that how I teach my classes is learning about discipline, fitness, having fun, of course, is the big thing. And, of course, learning certain things will give you the confidence. All right? Yeah. I don't teach bullies. It's not what I do.
Right.
That's anyone that comes to the gym, they will learn that straight away.
Yeah.
I don't just bring a kid in and they go straight into sparring. It's not what's going to happen.
No.
In fact, in my kid and teen program, we don't do sparring. Right?
No.
We don't do it. I've got a few now teens that want to go off into competition. So we now create a group for them. But that's took 18 months. It's all under a safe environment and completely watched, right? It's totally different. But I think now people are starting to realize that's why my kids' group's now starting to.
People are getting to understand. They don't have that misconception anymore.
No, that's right. I actually spoke to a insurance broker in America, of course, where every law exists.
Yes. Yes.
And he was giving me some crazy stats about martial arts in general to other sports or other activities. For example, marathon running, they have more dehydration, deaths in that.
I can believe it.
And don't go, the fighters, the adults, they have to make weight for a fight.
Sure.
Right? So marathon runners have that. Water sports has more deaths. The kayaking, for example, there's two others. Baseball has more reported head injuries. Reported's a big word here. The martial arts. You have soccer, football with the headers and things like that. Yeah. Then cheerleading.
I was going to say gymnastics, I think you told me was a big
cheerleading
one.
has more deaths and more injuries.
You don't hear about that in the news.
Now,
no.
Yeah, so sometimes it gets shun on us to defend ourselves. And I will always say this. Again, it can happen. Of course, injuries can happen and things like that. Of course it can. It happens in everything, right? American football, wow.
Yeah.
What I've done, which I'm very proud of, is turned a lot of people's lives around. I've had people that have had down on their luck in life, financially, relationships, business, that have come to me as a gym, joined the community, and their life's turned around, right? And I could tell you, and this podcast would probably be 10 hours long, of the lives. And that's not just me, it's the other coaches in the gym and the community and the people, right? That I've changed. And I will take all of those people over these arguments I have or discussions I have with people about it. It's brutal. It's like, it's not brutal.
That's just background noise.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. But I will defend it because of the people that I've changed lives with.
Yeah, helped.
Right? Yeah, helped. And again, whether it's helpful, all these aspects, I think it's one of the things that makes me open up the doors to the gym each day. It really does.
Yeah.
It's the people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really nice. Tell me about how you got connected with Idris Elba. And is he the most handsome man in the world?
He's number 2. So it's quite a good story, actually. So I have an old adversary who's now a dear friend of mine. His name is Warren Brown. He's an actor. He was a sidekick in Luther.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Yeah. Love that series.
Yeah. So he was a sidekick in the first 3 seasons. I don't want to give too much away.
Sure.
But he dies. And spoiler alert.
Right.
And apparently offset. Now, Warren was a former world champion. And we actually had a fight too, right? And he was from another a city. And he moved down into London to get more acting work. So he moved into acting in his mid-20s.
Okay.
And he's become a fantastic actor. He's starred in lots and lots of TV episodes and series and a couple of movies and things like that. He's done very well for himself. And anyway, he started training in my gym when he wasn't on set on things. And he came in and said, hey, I'm doing Luther. And Idris did this series with Discovery. And it was about putting him in an airplane and jumping out of a plane, driving the fastest cars. And it got a really good rapport, right? So they went, let's do something else. What do you want to do? It just went, I want to fight. And of course, all the executives start laughing.
Yeah.
As if.
Could have wrecked that moneymaker.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I'm serious. So he used to kickbox in his 20s just for training purposes. That's all he did. And then acting took over. And of course, in his late 20s, he went to New York and he went into the theatre and then eventually got into The Wire, which is where he really started his career. Fantastic series, The Wire. He's amazing in that. But he always liked to train. So if he could, he would just do some kickboxing or Muay Thai. So this offer came about, and Warren and him, in between sets, were doing some training together. And he said, Warren, I want to have one fight. 42 at the time. I think I should do it. And Warren went, are you sure? Ain't fucking nuts. No, I'm serious. He kept going on and on and on.
Yeah.
He's an obsessive guy. When he gets something on a project.
And I'm sure developing a fighter, that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So he got so involved. All right. So Warren went with him to this meeting and they started listing off all these coaches. Warren went, I'm going to stop you there. He goes, first and foremost, I know the guy. I'll make a right call to him right now. You have to bring him in to screen check and interview. I'm telling you, he's the guy. All right. Then the Discovery people were like, right, because of your schedule, you were working with, he had Thor coming up. He had the Two Towers with Matthew McConaughey, and he had the mountain between us.
Mm-hmm. Your
schedule was clear for the next 3.5 months before those movies start. 3.5 months. And Warren was like, it's a lot to train for a fight. Like, he hasn't really been training much at all. All right, let's do it. They were like, right, we got some ideas of fights he should be having. And they were putting up like these guys in Thailand that were like elbow monsters. And Warren went, nah, like this guy's never had a fight.
Right.
Like, it's not going to be possible. But this coach I'm going to tell you about is so connected. He'll know exactly how to do it. Trust the process. Well, okay. So got the phone call and they did it like I had to have a pre-interview.
I was going to say, did you know that did Warren tip you off that you were going to get this phone call?
Yeah. We're going to get a phone call. But what they've done it is a pre-interview. What do you feel like you're going to train with Idris Elba? What are you going to do? So I said, well, he's going to have to train hard. He's going to have to listen. Well, I don't know much about him yet. Let's see how serious he is because people aren't going to take him seriously. So I got some pads on. I walked in the gym and there he was with the gloves on, and I went, didn't say much. So I took him on pads and worked a little bit of technique and killed him on the last bit with some kicks. And he's dying. So I went, 10 more. And he went, what? Give me 10 more kicks. Bang, 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 10 more. And he's on his ass. Get up. Another 10. Bang, bang, bang. I'm laughing. Warren's laughing. And he lays on his back and went, that's the coach for me. He ultimately makes a decision on that, right?
Right.
So everything was going pretty well. He came down to my gym a couple of times and then he had an old injury, I think from a bike accident several years before. And it was a back injury, which went from spine into his hip. So he went to the doctor and the doctor said, not going to happen. It's over. So Discovery called me up and said, look, it doesn't look like this is going to happen. He's preparing me to say, thanks for your time.
Sure.
The injury's too bad.
Yep.
So he went to have surgery. He came back.
This is all still in that 3.5 month window.
Yeah. He came back after surgery. And the surgeon and doctor went, okay, you can go back to training, but it's going to take you 12 months. So, of course, they're scheduling Warner Brothers and all these different things.
Yeah.
It just went, I'm still doing it. Ask him if he wants to come with me on the journey. So I was like, all right then. So that's what we did. And it actually worked out better as a better story because we managed to go through all these different countries, Japan, Australia, South Africa, Holland, Thailand. Went to all these different countries.
And you were training, he was filming and you were training and wow.
I think there was about 300 hours of filming, which we had to get into 3 episodes of 45 minutes. Yeah, there's so many uncut footage, which I'd love to see actually, of extra sort of stuff. And even afterwards, they said we should have done like a 6-part series because it was such good. We had such a good dynamic and a good electricity between us. But at the time, Discovery had agreed a 3-episode part, right?
Sure.
And it was a fantastic time of my career of coaching.
No doubt.
It propelled me onto other things, which was great. And I'm super grateful to him and all the Discovery and all the team that were filming because we were,
of course,
some of the producers and cameramen are still friends of mine.
Nice.
And then you start to learn about that lifestyle. It's not for me.
It's not for you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, no.
I've got some friends in famous positions, right? It's from the outside, it looks wonderful. And I'll do an example. We're in South Africa. It's a great restaurant with his security guards, giant guy called Jamal, ex-NFL guy. The biggest smile you ever see on this guy. Wonderful guy, fantastic heart. Did 100 meters in like 10 seconds, right? He's no joke.
Wow.
Powerful guy, right? Anyway, he's just sitting there. We're all around this table. It's in South Africa. Now, Idris was Nelson Mandela in the movie, right? So he's a star there. We have to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're all sitting around having dinner, and the waiter, so security guard's gone over to him and said, listen, you want a photo? We'll do it out the back. No problem. Let him finish his dinner, right? But word got round pretty quickly. Idris Elba's in the building. People from outside, 200-300 people, boom,
Really?
within seconds.
My God.
Jamal, we're going. Outside, radioed.
Into the car. Yeah.
I got in with him too. People are running down the street.
Wow.
Right? One guy was holding his phone. Right? Called his wife. Please, can you speak to my wife? It would be the best day of her life. He turned around and said, what about you're married? No, this would be better. This would be better if he could speak to you. Insane.
Crazy.
I couldn't live like that, right?
No, and that was just one night in one restaurant.
Yeah.
He didn't even probably get to finish his meal.
No, he's told me other stories. Comic Con's another big one because he was in Star Trek. He told me about Comic Con one time that the fans there, and there's no ill intent or anything.
No,
but they're just obsessed with Star Trek or these different things.
Oh yeah.
But he deals with it brilliantly.
Yeah,
he deals with it brilliantly, and he understands he's got a private life, and he does his best to make that private, and he understands how to work the attention of media, which you've got to do.
So as a Brit, as somebody from the UK, Idris is from the UK. Is he going to be the next James Bond?
No.
Okay.
No, I got told that the reason being was that he was too old. That's why I got told. This was a few years ago.
Yeah.
They wanted someone that they could have for 20 years.
Yes.
So I think they're going to pick someone maybe 40 or maybe mid-30s that can go to at least late 50s, right?
Yeah.
I think Idris is 51, 52 now.
Okay.
So he could do them. Of course he could, right?
Sure.
But I think that's what they want. They want to build a story up.
Yeah.
Of at least 5-6 movies they can have a story with, right?
That's
Which is understandable.
Of course. Yeah. No, I would have liked to have seen him as James Bond. He would have been awesome.
Yeah, I think it would have been
20 years ago. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been a different story then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Daniel Craig, though, is great.
He was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. We'll see who the next one is. Some personal questions for you now. So, what's your favorite business in Bragg Creek?
Apart from my.
Apart from yours. Yeah. And say KK.
Do you know what? I'm going to say Rockies.
Rockies.
And I'll tell you why. Because they open their arms. First of all, it's a family-run business, so props to them.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful people. They've opened their arms up to us, and we go in there regularly, and they're so accommodating, friendly, and nice.
They are.
Amazing.
Super nice.
And again, shout out to Bragg Creek Bakery, Mabel and Marie's. The Powder Horn is great when we have a date night or something.
Absolutely.
For a few beers.
Yeah. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
An archaeologist.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was a massive fan of Indiana Jones.
Ah, yeah, we grew up in that area, didn't we? Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, but I thought archaeology was just like beating off Nazis. and then discovering things without actually shoveling anything, right?
Right, yeah.
And it was going to be all romantic and amazing.
No.
You know, not the actual fact. If you go to these places, you get bitten by everything that flies.
Totally.
You know, like.
And you're in the dirt.
Yeah, you're in the dirt. Little
brushes.
Yeah, it's not that. It's what I know, adventures and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a massive Indiana Jones fan, and the trilogy. I won't talk about the other movies. The trilogy was just growing up was just iconic. I even had my mum. She used to work in a charity shop, which is like a thrift store, right? She found the Indiana Jones hat around the house. 10 years old. I'm Indiana Jones.
That's fantastic. What did your parents want you to be?
I always say this about my mother. She taught me that language is important and how you speak. Because in the area I brought up with, we had a mass diversity of people from all around the world.
Sure.
But if you could be articulate, be polite, then you will get into better places, right?
Yeah. It'll take you a long way.
Yeah. Whatever you do in your life, as long as you work like that, you don't have to speak in certain ways. You don't have to be rude.
That's right.
All right. And it will get you through situations.
What was your first job?
So I was a barrister's clerk, which is a lawyer's clerk. So this is in 1996. on my 16th birthday, I got the job. And very shortly afterwards, I started working. And it sounds amazing, but it's not. It's basically a glorified tea boy. Make tea for the lawyers, the barristers, get their books together, because that's what you did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Bind the books together, take them off to the court case, making sure they got all of that, get their lunches, pick up their post. And that's what you do. Photocopying, thing of the past. So I had to go to this huge library, which is a law library. And they would give me a list, certain books on the page, the certain case. And I had to go and get that book, put it on a photocopier, push it down so you didn't get the black line.
Yeah.
Next page. Hours doing that, right? Now it's just all done a click of a button. And then eventually I got promoted to another job, which was a clerk, but a junior clerk. So which was then doing meetings. I was in meetings, making telephone calls to references, and taking in checks to banks and those sort of things,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
And I did that for 3.5 years.
Wow.
I was still training at the time and helping out at the gym.
What was your worst job?
Well, that was also my worst job because I always wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Right?
And your favorite job, obviously?
Coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coaching is definitely, promoting is fantastic. Being a fighter was fantastic, but the coaching is something special in my heart for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Free plug time. What do you want to let everybody know what you got going on?
So, yeah, just open up the second location in Cochrane. The membership is, if you're a membership of Bragg Creek, you can go train there too. If you're stopping by in Cochrane or you're out there, yeah, sure. The days are different too, so there's different days to train, which is a great thing. I am looking to expand the Bragg Creek in time. Not yet. In time, I'd like to have a gym as well, as in the weights and fitness side, as a location. There is a potential for that to happen sooner rather than later.
I think there's good potential in the community for
absolutely.
Like
It's just got to be put together with a good plan. This is going back to in my 20s. I can't just open this.
No.
Right? I need to really think about that.
Any special fights coming up? I know you've had a couple in the last few weeks.
We are going to do an event in June on Sutina. It's called the Bullhead Sports Community Centre. So that's in June. Hopefully we'll get a local lad from Bragg on that, which is great. So that'll be the first person from actual Bragg that will actually be competing on an event in Muay Thai. So that'd be fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
We've had the hockey player, Dylan Holloway.
Yes.
Yeah. Who trains at my facility in the summer, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, fantastic.
Very cool.
Great guy. Fantastic guy. An athlete.
Yeah,
Incredibly
killing it in the NHL right now.
But great heart too, honestly.
Yeah.
Just well brought up. So he's a hockey player. I want a fighter. So we'll have a fighter too, hopefully by June.
Good. We'll keep posted on that. Where can listeners find you online?
Well, I've got a couple of platforms. Kieran Keddle, of course, and then my academy is the Kieran Keddle Academy. And you'll find all the information you need to on classes and what I do and this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this when it gets launched.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Well, thanks very much.
No, it's been a pleasure coming on, and also, honestly, good luck with all this.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Fantastic. I think it's going to help, not just a little bit with the people knowing about what goes on in Bragg Creek. We are a quiet town. There's no denying it.
Sure.
A quiet part of the world. But it's nice to know that things do happen here too.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of hidden gems out here that people have no idea about.
Absolutely.
And it's nice to educate the locals about what's happening, as well as visitors, and generating some tourism that way. So, and KK, I think to what your future aspirations are to do with the Academy, I think there's a great niche here for that.
Absolutely.
So
thanks very much.
Wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Yes, thank you, Kieran. If you haven't checked out the KK Academy website yet, please do. Link will be in the show notes. The programs offered are for all ages, from parents bonding with their kids through weekly guided group conditioning classes, or full-on Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training for all ages. KK Academy is the place to start. Next week, we have the pleasure of hearing from one of Bragg Creek's newest businesses, RPG, River People Guides. Oz Hamzik will join us to take us into the world of fly fishing and guiding around the local waters of Bragg Creek. Don't miss it. Thanks again for watching and listening. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Bragg & Bout Business Podcast, and check out our website at bnbb.ca. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Cowboy Trail Brewery. Please check out their website, cowboytrail.beer. And if you haven't yet, pick up a pack of their Oktoberfest ale, brewed right here in Alberta. Yes, Oktoberfest, in April. You don't have to wait till the fall. Celebrate Oktoberfest with their special brew crafted with the finest quality German malts. This beer captures the essence of tradition and excellence, offering a rich, full-bodied flavor that pairs perfectly with your German side dishes. raise a stein, and enjoy a classic taste of Oktoberfest right here in Alberta in April. Till next time, have a good week.